go.
Invincible.
settings or Windows.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for stars. I wonder where you are.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through? For you, for you, for you, for you. my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for go.
Invincible.
Welcome back to Bronze to Plat. Welcome to our show match of Mistix versus Double Dippers. Best of one here before we start Season 2 next week. I'm Artorius IV, joined as always by the wonderful Sarge. How are you doing today, Sarge?
I am doing very well, thank you, my friend. It has been far too long since we got to cast together in this beautiful Bronze to Plat League. I love watching the games that our teams pull out for us, and it's going to be an interesting one. Like you said, it's the show match before the season properly starts. We've got the old Vanguard team of Double Dippers on the red side, welcoming in the new upcoming talent of Mistix on the blue side, who I believe had a bit of a word with you before the show, Artorius.
Not with me, with you. They were telling us about how they've gone undefeated so far in those scrims. Now, again, this is coming directly from their mouths, not necessarily something we're going to take at face value.
Yeah, they were saying how they were like ex-world players. They've been around the block, international tournaments. So a lot of confidence from this team, and we're looking forward to seeing how they play. We don't really know a lot about them, and like we said, this is a show match. We're not expecting the teams to come out full guns blazing, trying to, end the game at 20 minutes, destroy their opposition, take them down, and have a thing like that. It's going to be a fun game, but at the same time, neither of them want to be the first teams on stream of the new split to actually lose.
No, absolutely. And from the sounds of it, Double Dippers is very much taking that mentality of this is a show to heart. You mentioned how you got into their comms and were chatting with them a little bit and asking about strategy, and it was don't lose, don't int.
Yeah, that was basically it. I said before the thing, went into the Discord, I was like, oh, yo, guys, how you all doing? Do you want a little bit of insight for me to drop into the stream? See what, a little bit of story behind our teams. And we basically said, don't lose hard. That was a plan. So, have to see whether they can actually fulfill that plan, hopefully. But the first pickup for Mistix is going to be Elise Sin. Heading over to the jungle, massive playmaker, immediately countered by Yasuo Malphite. That's a predictable combination of how that's going to work together.
I love it. This is throwing the gauntlet down. The only thing that would have been nicer to see out, other than the Malphite, would have been maybe the Gragas that be in the jungle there. But no, I love this. This is the kind of shit I like to see in my show matches.
It is going to be an absolute blast. Varus picked up for the bot lane of Mistix, very safe, able to poke down at range, lots of wave clear, engage potential as well, and Nico, able to be flexed between mid and top lane, and can go AP or on hit, so lots of options open to Mistix at the minute.
Absolutely, and I feel like that Nico is probably going to be chasing down that Malphite more. The wind wall is going to make it really difficult for Nico to put out so much damage. And here we go, Sarge, your absolute favorite AD carry, the Ezreal locked in.
I'm just so bored of seeing Ezreal every single game. Okay, I fully understand why he's been played all the time, because he's extremely safe, he has lots of poke damage, and because of some of the recent changes to him, he's very strong in the late game as well as the mid game. A lot of his previous weaknesses have kind of been patched out, and he's a very strong, very reliable champion at the minute. That being said, I'm a little bit tired of seeing the Ezreal. I'm definitely more excited about the Varus, the Nico, the Lee Sin, and this Yasuo Malphite combination.
Oh, absolutely. Huge fan of the Yasuo Malphite combination. Like I said, I would still like to see a Gragas picked up, either thrown into the jungle, or even more fun having that go down support role, just to give that Yasuo more roaming potential, even not necessarily having to rely on fake egg, but that being Bergen or Hail the Beast being his combo sets up here. Not to mention having two different knockups for a Yasuo makes team fighting that much easier for you instead of having to 1v9 to get your tornadoes off as well.
Well, and that's the thing. Obviously, with myself coming from Europe, I'm watching a lot of the LEC games, and it's interesting when we actually get together on these Cast Sartorius, because there's different metas evolve in different regions, and I don't know if you guys have seen it over the pond, but quite a lot of teams in Europe have been picking up the Yasuo Gragas bot lane together, so I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we see Yasuo Malphite down in the bot lane with a potential Ezreal mid.
No, I haven't seen the Malphite paired with the Yasuo in the bot lane. What I do remember, though, which was absolutely disgusting, was in the LCK, I believe it was Sandbox who did it. They ran Yasuo Sejuani in that bot lane because Yasuo's Q counts as an auto attack, and it procs the Sejuani passive as well. So you dash Q auto Q, and that's 3 stacks already from the Yasuo, and the knockup from the Sejuani has the person already stunned and ultimated by Yasuo.
That sounds absolutely horrific, but we won't be seeing any Sejuanis by the looks of it. Karma will be the pickup for Double Dippers. Lots of flexibility, really strong, enables a lot of these carries looking to buff up the Yasuo and the Ezreal. Aatrox will be the answer for the side of Mistix. Looks like they are going a bit more standard, wanting to put out a good showing for the first game for us, and the Aatrox definitely going to be going up to the top lane with, well, you know what? Scrap that. The Aatrox isn't going up to the top lane. It's going to be an Aatrox mid with a Cho'Gath in the top, I reckon.
I would suspect the Aatrox is in the jungle there, actually, with the Cho'Gath top and the Nico. Again, all of those three last picks could go into any of these solo lanes, and Aatrox and Cho'Gath both have history in the jungle.
If the Aatrox is in the jungle, where's the Lee Sin?
Lee Sin support.
No, I'm just gonna say no at this point. No, that's not happening. I don't like that.
I hope not. I hope not. Let's see what this is gonna be here. All
No,
right, it looks
it's
like we'll have.
looking like it'll pair up for an Aatrox mid, Cho'Gath top lane for the side of Mistix. Very nice to all of them. They have a very strong objective control with that Cho'Gath's Feast. Kled was the final pickup for the side of Double Dippers, and that's going to give them a hell of a lot of engage potential. The Kled ultimate into the Malphite ultimate into the Yasuo ultimate, there is a lot of speed on the table, and that's not even talking about all of the mobility that Karma gives to her carries as well, able to speed them up and shield them, keep these extended fights going.
Indeed. Now, I do have to bring your attention to something that KU Fallen brought to mind. The bans here for Noble spell out Noble. We have the Nunu, Oriana,
Oh, yeah.
Braun, LeBlanc, Evelyn. I don't think they took their bans 100% seriously.
Well, it's a better word to spell out than the last team that I cast that spell out a word with a bans. I'll leave that to your imagination. But no, we're going into the game now, and let's take a bit of a look at these actual compositions. First thing I want to point out, for the side of Double Dippers, I understand why they've gone for Malphite in the jungle. He is the only person that can really proc the Yasuo's knockup other than the Yasuo. I mean, Kled gives a mini knockup with his ult, but it's onto a single target and you don't really get to choose it, other is whoever walks in the way of it. So Malphite's going to be that reliable engage for the Yasuo. But it's certainly fair to say that he's going to suffer in the early game. His clear is going to be very poor, especially when you look over to the side of Mistix, who have a Lee Sin, one of the best early game duelists in the jungle, and able to make plays happen from all sorts of angles.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the potential here for him to invade and just continue to harass this Malphite in lane. Now, I do want to point to the fact that I believe top lane with Bergen and Kled into that Cho'Gath should definitely have a sort of priority, which should be able to help Malphite keep into the jungle, at least on the top side of the map. The Yasuo Aatrox matchup, no guaranteed priority from either side here, really based on the champion. But depending on how that plays, there might be potential as well for Fake Ed and Sync to be able to sync up together and get some plays in the jungle against Sohan with he's isolated, and potentially even with Bergen coming in.
Definitely going to be a lane to watch. The Yasuo Aatrox is going to be very explosive. I have a feeling that's going to be where we see a lot of the early action, and it could be the potential playground for the carries that decide the game in the end. But down in the bot lane, we have a very defensive choice for the side of Mistix, it feels like, with Varus and Nico. Both have fantastic wave clear, and they both have a decent amount of safety in the range that they have available to them.
That's true, though if either of them are caught out, not much is going to be able to help them out of that, other than potentially Nico's ultimate if she can get the shields off. But caught out of position, those two are very, very squishy and very quick to take down.
They are indeed, but there's not the hugest amount of kill pressure in lane from an Ezreal Karma, at least not immediately. It's not something like a Draven Morgana that's going to be instantly up in your face, pushing you under your tower, looking to chunk you out and get these massive grey areas on your health bar building up, but definitely a lane to watch, and we're going to have to be careful because this relentless poke that's going to come out from the Ezreal Karma is definitely enough to even up with the Varus and Nico.
Oh, absolutely. And again, most likely going to see the junglers prioritizing these solo lanes more so, trying to get the Yasuo ahead. Probably going to be some pressure there onto that Cho'Gath as well to try to stay alive against the Kled. That trap on a rope, making it very difficult for Cho'Gath to keep that healing, to keep him in lanes. We should see Lee Sin being forced up there. Hopefully we can see Fake Egg being able to match those rotations and keep it a little bit even in those 2v2s instead of 2v1s, especially if, as expected, Bergen is up in those lanes.
Yeah, you would expect for Kled to have the push, especially because for the Tiamat first, you typically see that to get a bit more lane control on the Kled. It gives you that helpful wave clear. But you have to bear in mind that as soon as Kled gets dismounted, he is going to struggle and be very vulnerable to this Cho'Gath because of the Devour. It does true damage, and it's within the threshold that as soon as Kled comes off of Skarl, you're kind of in that danger zone already, and there's no real way that Kled can disengage from that fight if he goes all in and gets it wrong.
No, absolutely. It will be interesting to see continuingly. Though, that being said, there are some amazing abilities for Kled to continue these fights moving on throughout as they mount and dismount continuously. I know in my fights against Kled, I find it much easier to dismount him once, chunk him out a little bit, and then wait for the second dismount before going for that all in.
Yeah, you do have to be very careful playing around him. He's a very tricky person to actually deal with, and it's very good to. He's very able to tower dive you as well. So if this Cho'Gath is pushed under the tower like we expect, we might see a big all-in under the tower from Fake Egg coming over a wall.
Now we are on the rift here, so we will to see finally if our predictions for how these lane assignments and these lane states will come true. Not expecting too much at level 1, even though it is a show match, as you did say, Sarge. Neither of them are going to really want to risk throwing it all off of some silly level 1 play that goes awry. What we see right now is exactly what I would have expected to have happen. Just everybody making sure nothing too crazy is happening.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we said, this is a show match, so it doesn't count for anything in the standings. The teams aren't getting any points from this. Nobody's expecting them to take it massively seriously, but there's still that mental game on the back of the team's mind. Double Dipper played in our last split, did reasonably well. They're not going to be wanting to come out and lose to the new boys on the block. On the other hand, you've got Mistix. They are the new team on the block. They're wanting to show that they are here to compete, that they're here to do well, so a loss isn't going to be a good thing for them mentally either, even though, like we say, these don't affect the standings whatsoever.
No, and absolutely, like I said, I definitely feel like Double Dipper is showing a little bit of that mentality here, especially with that first round pick of the Yasuo Malphite. One of those compositions you don't see a whole lot of, especially because if the Yasuo falls behind, that's just it. Your game plan is over. This game is very much on the back of sync with the composition they have picked up. Yes, those opportunities for Bergen to split push. Yes, Gnome Stripper can definitely do work on that Ezreal, but it really is a game of does sync do really well or not. And
Can you get this Yasuo to where it needs to be? That is going to be the question, like you're saying, Altaris. But something to point out, the teams have actually done a little bit of a lane swap here. They've moved Bergen into the mid lane and Sync up into the top lane. So it's Kled into Aatrox, a matchup that does very heavily favour the Kled since those recent changes to the Bear Trap on a rope, reducing healing by that flat 60%, dropping a lot of the sustainability of the Aatrox in this matchup.
now, that doesn't do anything for Aatrox's damage, as we do see here. Kled already demounted, losing Skarl here. Does get the Conqueror, so we'll be able to heal up a little bit as he continues on to farm there. But that's very nice for Naibo there in the mid lane already. As we see, Fake Egg had to go buff to buff as Sohan getting Raptors, and that's going to be first blood mid lane.
First blood in the mid lane indeed. The flash ignite was used by Neilbo. Clocked that he had that summoner, whereas Bergen had the teleport, so chose to go for that all in. Goes for the early aggression and picks himself up the first blood kill. Definitely helping out this Aatrox in a matchup he might struggle into.
Yeah, oh, top web reduces, trading back and forth. The miss of the last Q, that's going to be Shiver not surviving. Last tick from Ignite there, going to be enough to get him.
Yeah, kill returned up in the top lane, and we're saying how we wanted to see the Yasuo get ahead, how Fake Egg had to try and play around Sync to get him an early advantage, but up in the top lane, looks like he's got that for himself.
Until the Sohan showed up. Very nice use of the Q there from the Lee Sin. Ward hop, and then the miss of the Q as well from Sync. Very unfortunate for him to be unable to return that gank around in any way. Now, Sivart did not get a part of that, so the top lane advantage is still slightly in favor of Sync.
Slightly in favour of Sync in terms of a one-on-one lane matchup, but definitely going to be a problem with Sohan picking up that kill. Lee Sin is able to impact the map in multiple places, so the kill onto him will be a massive benefit, and Sync doesn't have the teleport for his lane, so although he got that early kill and giving him the advantage over Cho'Gath, he's had to walk back to lane, missing out on a lot of experience, and he actually is 2 full waves behind of Sievert now, who has backed for the second time, picking up some more armor and a bit more mana for himself.
Absolutely. We do continue to see mid lane Bergen taking a lot of damage. Nibo here. Not really sure this is a matchup he's super familiar with. We do see him continuing to try, but taking some interesting trades, losing Skarl very, very quickly as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Bergen losing so heavily, because although they're playing in the mid lane, this is still, you know, it's a traditional top lane matchup where you would see Kled into the Aatrox fairly regularly. And like we say, it does favour the Kled because of his recent changes. Now, whether this is a different in skill level, whether it's just because Neobo did have that early flash ignite for the super aggressive play that Bergen wasn't expecting.
That's going to be a second kill in the mid lane. Solo kill. That's going to be the smite coming through. Another 2-pack fakers to be able to get dash from the Lee Sin. Lots of damage going in. Flash coming in from the beast. That's going to be ignite as well onto the faker. That should be him falling at the next tick. No. He's going to survive with just under 50 health.
Lots of summoners in the bot lane were blown there. Hail the Beast flash ignited to try and get the last bit of that kill. Very low on health, so will likely have to back off here. But 2-pack Faker blew his heal as well. Ku Fallen on the Nico used the flash ignite themselves, so definitely a worthwhile trade as Ku Fallen's been engaged onto again.
Gnome Stripper brought so low there by 2-pack Faker, who came back just for that Q. Incredibly risky here for both of these ADCs to stay around. However, Faker actually does have more health now, and I believe a little bit more range as well, especially with that Q.
Nico is always a problematic champion to deal with. She's very obnoxious, able to pass her route through minions, able to catch people out quite a lot. I know whenever I'm playing against Leona in the bottom lane, I always forget that her Zenith Blade can go through minions. Nico very much in the same position, so Hail the Beast hanging around here has to be very careful, because if that connects, there is more than enough damage to take them down.
Yeah, absolutely. You do see a slight level advantage now for Sync in the top lane. He has gotten levels first. Not going to be able to make much of it, though. Does proc the Conqueror, taking a decent trade there topside. He does have to be very careful, though. That silence from Sievert, though, makes it very difficult for him to continue to do what he wants, which is just pump out abilities continuously.
Yeah, and Sync does have the Ignite advantage as well, that combat summoner for the all-in if they're choosing to go for it, but still maintains that CS deficit as we see Ku Fallen trying to get some sneaky plays on the bot side.
Yeah, and as you saw right there, talking about the silence going through to stop him from getting the Q off, that's going to be the Ignite being used to divert. That's going to damage the knock-up onto Yasuo. Q does have the Tornado, that should be able to connect. No, just short, and Seivert's going to walk away.
Just getting away there. The Ignite used by Sync will be a big problem, but Sohan caught out in the jungle down here will manage to escape with that ward hop, getting out after stealing the fake eggs blue. And we said how much of a difference it would be from these junglers in the early game. We haven't seen the fake egg do anything really, has had no impact on the map. He is behind CS to release in and down a kill as well. So his Malphite pick so far not paying off through levels 1 to 6.
No, but that Malphite was not picked for levels 1 through 6. Absolutely, definitely a pick for level 6 on to pair off with Sync in that top line now.
Yeah, that is true, but Fake Egg still just struggling to clear his jungle. Still not at level 6, having to get his red. Sohan will be level 6 already, nearly level 7 you have to imagine, finishing his second back with the Tiamat, going to have an incredibly fast clear, and Fake Egg is going to be on the catch-up, still needs one more camp to hit level 6, and looking around his jungle, there's nothing there for him to take.
No, now we do see that Bergen and Sync have re-swapped lane assignments once more, with Sync going back into that mid lane and Bergen going topside. Looks like Kled has had enough of that Aatrox for some time.
And that's not really the most promising thing you want to see. You don't want to be swapping out of a favourable matchup because you've already lost it. So I would expect Siva on the Cho'Gath is fairly happy to see Bergen up there.
It doesn't look like it. Oh, so Han's gonna get the kick onto the Sync, but the wind wall is gonna stop the Q from connecting as the Sync going in. The Q comes in from Fake Egg, he's gonna get the knock up onto the Sync. Evo, he's gonna be able to continue on. Sync is very low, he's gonna go down. Evo's using the ultimate to continue going in. He's gonna get Gnome for the heal, so he's trying to get him away. Flash comes in from Evo. Not gonna be enough. That's gonna be the double kill giving over to Faker here as they get Malphite.
This
And
is the problem of the Malphite jungle. You have that ultimate to set up for the Yasuo, but if that isn't what you need, that is all you have. Cut to ribbons there. Double Dippers taking 2 members lost, while the side on Mistix, the new boys on the block, currently sitting at 5-1 with the first dragon on the scoreboard as well. Going to be very happy with that play, and we're still going to have to wait to see if this Malphite Yasuo combo does actually come to fruition.
yeah, it was very unfortunate there. I think it was a slight miscall there, actually. They didn't get Sohan with the knockup either, which allowed him to get away far enough to get Nico back in. And with Fallen there, the 3v2 was just very difficult for them to play around.
No priority over the bottom side of the map. Tupac Faker and Ku Fallen have the poke, they have the push in the bottom side because of the range of the Nico and the Varus. They could move into river first, back up the jungler, and with Neilbo being so dominant in this mid lane, he was able to move down and assist as well.
Now we do see Shinx going in for a trade there. Interesting use of the wind wall, not necessarily an ability you need to be throwing out against Aatrox 9 times out of 10.
I mean, it helps with the infernal chains, but they still wouldn't be coming from that side of him. So maybe expecting there to be a Lee Sin waiting in the bushes for an engage there, trying to block that. 200 IQ players coming out from DD Sync in this mid lane.
Yes, how dare I forget about the junglers here. I'm a filthy top laner, we don't see junglers. Oh, that's the Vintage Corruptions coming through. With the Infernal Change by Apologies coming through on the DD Sync. Making a very nice trade here from Evo.
Very nice trade indeed, but Tupac Faker doing so much damage, poking back constantly with that Q, and engage in the mid lane. That will be the charge used.
Not going to be able to connect on anyone. Yeah.
The amount of times I do that as Cled, you're like, oh Mint, I can set up this play here, you charge in, and the enemy laner just completely walks away, and you just run into the lane like, hello.
Oh, that's Evo using the ultimate, that's going to be going in, that's going to be a miss on the Q, that's going to be going down. Nice blue buff handed over here to DD Sync.
Now that was nice. That was a good example of how the Malphite Yasuo should be working together. The instant switch of targets onto Sohan and taking him down, but DD Sync looks like he could be losing his life now in the mid lane as well. My Observer taking me all over map, engage the bot lane.
Yeah, bot lane, that's going to be the Zhonya's being used by Hilda B. Is not going to be enough. Bit of a waste of that hourglass in my opinion, as they're going to be returning a bunch of... Oh, that's going to be the flash from Sievert going to be able to get the kill. Now silence on to Fake Egg, lots of damage going in, the knockup, that should be it. Double kill, give it over to Sievert. That laning phase not affecting him at all, now 2-1.
Yeah, Mistix have really come out of the gate swinging here. They went for a more standard composition. Yes, they picked for Cho'Gath, who we haven't seen in a long time. Tanks have fallen out of the meta in recent months, but making it work for them. That Flash Feast doing a lot of damage, just chunking out the Fake Egg. And Double Dippers really being punished for trying something different and not picking a conventional jungler.
Absolutely, we do see two towers falling here. Oh, that's going to be Lee Sin going in onto Cloud. That's going to be the Bear Trap. Going to just force them both away. Going to save that tower without necessarily returning a kill or getting one himself. Top lane here.
And you know you're in a bad position when the enemy jungler has more experience, more kills, and is the same level as one of your solo laners. C9 Bergen is really struggling to make anything work on this claim. Had no impact at all this game, except adding his ability.
Now chase down. Evo coming in with the ultimate. That's going to be the ultimate here from Bergen's block as well. Flash being used as well. Sync not able to jump over that wall. Sohan's going to be able to connect to him with the Q. That's going to be him very low, and Sinks falls as well. 3 members of our top side group being brought down by Mistix.
Mistix are running the map at the moment. They have full reign to move wherever they want. All of their carries are getting fed, and all of them are doing absolutely fantastically, doing so much work here. Even Sivir on this Cho'Gath, 2-1-1, and with a Rift Herald summon in mid lane, there is no real way that Double Dippers can contest this.
No, especially with Fake Egg not having the ultimate there to be able to put any sort of initiation onto that either. And with DD Sync, again, very far away from this play as well. That's going to let them get possibly topside as well in the next wave, depending on how rotations look here, as we do see Mistix taking a lot of plays down on the spot side now.
Yeah, the Dragon has just respawned. They would be looking for the second Mountain Drake, give them more damage onto these turrets, onto these objectives, and just help them maintain this dominance that they're seeing around the map. They do have a very fast Baron taking squad if they go for it with the Varus, the Lee Sin, and the Aatrox. A lot of damage at the Cabal, but looking for a fight instead.
Taking a little bit out of position potentially, pop blocking on the Fake Egg. As Gnome Stripper manages to get a kill. That's going to be the knockup, being able to save DD Sync, not for long enough to matter. The 2-back shot down, that's going to change the corruption landing onto Karma. That's going to be using her ultimate powered shield to get some more speed. Not going to be enough from the Q there to kill the beast, and that's going to be a 1 or a 2-for-1 there. Both junglers falling. It'll be interesting to see if Mistix still try to go for this dragon or not.
All the time we've been seeing Neilbo and talking about the damage he has, and 2-pack Faker ripping through the lines of Double Dippers there. That fully charged Q just destroyed Hail the Beast's health bar, nearly dropping him down onto a grey screen, sitting at 5-0-1 down in this bot lane. It feels like we haven't really seen him do a lot, but clearly doing a lot of work for his team and putting so much work. I've got news from our producers that the Twitter poll is currently at 80% in favour of Mistix, the new boys on the block, making the impact felt and really showing up for the first performance here in Bronze to Plat.
Absolutely. We do see now mostly just a reset coming through here for Double Dippers, attempting to get this mid lane here, but we do see Naibo there in the bush that might be catching Sync out of position. Gonna chase him off. We see the rest of Double Dippers trying to go in, and so much damage there. You were saying, Hail the Beast brought very low and down. That's Sohan getting the kill there. I believe that was with the Dragon's Tick as well, yes.
Not really a lot you can do against the sheer damage. As soon as 2-pack Faker hits that Q, half a health bar is gone. Sohan is being so strong. He is able to pick up and follow onto these kills easily. And if it doesn't go in his favour, jumps back to Sivir on this Cho'Gath, this big beefy tank that they've got for themselves, with no real AP damage coming through to try and cut through those defences.
That's Sin caught out of position here, Sohan's going to continue the chase here. Q off? No, it's not. Clutch coming in is going to jump onto Sivir. That's going to be a knockup. Not the person you necessarily want to be running into as the Kled.
Definitely not where you want to be.
Lots of damage going on to Hail the Beast again. Sivir is going to tank this tower. Does not care. He's going to get the knockup as well. That's how the Beast brought down. So that's going to be the ultimate here going in. Fake Egg brought down with the pop blossom as well. Continuing in. We see the root landing onto the ADC for Double Dippers. Going to continue to try to kite here. Not going to be able to return a kill as Sync is the only one left alive, but having to cower behind these Nexus towers as Sivir continues to tank that inhibitor tower to get his team out safely.
The map has fallen to pieces for Double Dippers. The last member here, Sync, will drop under the tower. No real competition. Cho'Gath tanking that for so long. He is such a tanky boy here on this Rift. As the base will be broken, the inhibitor is now being hit. Members of Double Dippers are respawning.
That's going to be a great shutdown here for Hail the Beast to be able to get onto Sivir here. They might not get the inhibitor. No, not quite getting the inhibitor. A little bit of extra greed here. As we said, it is a showmatch, so we don't expect to see them necessarily closing the game out at 20 minutes. Although, if I'm not mistaken, that timer at the top there isn't quite 20 minutes yet, Sarge. So we might see it still.
Not quite 20 minutes. We have 1.5 minutes if that is the mark that the teams are going for, but they might look instead to go for that first Baron and put the final nail in the coffin that way. They do have an excellent team to try and siege onto the base of Double Dippers, and not really a massive amount Double Dippers can do to respond. Bergen been pretty much irrelevant in this game so far. Sync has not had the impact felt. It definitely feels like that Mastery 7 Yasuo on your team rather than on the enemy team. And the Fake Eggs jungle, well, let's just say I think that Malphite jungle isn't a pick for a reason.
Indeed. Now, that being said, if they do go for this Baron, there is still that potential for that 5-man knockup in huge plays to come through. The knockup into the ultimate there from Desync, as well as Gnome Stripper could come through and put a lot of damage in. Now, that being said, Hail the Beast going down again, caught out of position and just taking so much damage so quickly is not what you want to see, as they are going to be able to brute force this inhibitor down without needing Baron here. Fake Egg taking so much damage here, you can see coming in from 2-pack Faker.
With an 11k gold advantage, why not just brute force it? Mistix definitely have the tools to do so. They have the big tanky front line, they have the engage pick potential as soon as someone steps out of line, and they have the insane poke as well. All of the necessary components to siege onto this base, and all Double Dippers can do is desperately try to clear.
So Hunt's going to get an amazing takeoff here onto Desync. He had highlighted him in the beginning about how he was going to be lost. That's going to be Gnome Stripper managing to survive. Pop Blossom not finding anyone. But that's going to be Steven coming in. Rooted up here for Gnome Stripper. That's going to be the front line falling down here for Double Dipper. So it's going to be Faker getting the double knockup. That should be Seabird going down as well. Nevo's now the one chasing on Fergus, but that's going to be him falling as well. Faker falling a moment before that. Ace, and you should very easily see the game end here.
This is where we're going to see whether teams want to end the game or whether they want to actually play it out a bit longer. It looks like Mistix are here to make a statement. They're going to take down this first tower. The second one could easily fall as well. Desync already going low, forced onto the fountain. 2 members alive. We're going to have to see what these teams want to do. Only the minions stand between them and the next, but they'll back off. Very wise with all the members of Double Dippers respawning.
Now, it could just very well be a straight to Baron. It looks like at least that's where Sohan is going. With the recalls coming in from Mika right now. Naibo as well. We will have to see it. Yeah, Gnome Stripper is going to try to spot that. They know it's not Baron yet, but 21 minutes in, no Nexus Towers left standing for Double Dippers. That's not the kind of thing you want to be seeing coming into Season 2.
It's not what you want to be seeing at all, but you also don't want to be staring down a 13k gold advantage. But let's look at the positives here for Double Dippers. I think it's fair to say that they weren't taking this game quite as seriously as Mistix were. The combination of the Yasuo, Malphite, jungle, mid synergy, I get why they were trying to attempt it. It could have made some explosive clutch plays happen, but unfortunately for them, they've been put so far behind. Now, I don't think this is something they would pull out in the regular season, and even if so, it's more experience playing from behind, more experience playing from a loss, but unfortunately, they have no idea what is going on the map, as Mistix will just take this Baron for free.
Yeah, we'll get tagged up at the end there by Gnome Stripper. They are going to try to get the attack, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to do much. If I think it's going to get a great steal as well. Going to be able to go in, not going to get the steal. That's Fake Egg there, Sohan's going in. He's going to be able to get a kill. Spot very low as well on the backside. Does fall in the end. Flash forward from 2-pack. He's going to be able to not quite kill the kill on Gnome Stripper. Naibo manages to cut out Hail the Beast once more. Is coming in around. Flashes doesn't get Gnome Stripper the first one. Gets him with the second. Goes for the third Q. Doesn't quite hit Bergen. He's going to just ignore the tower. Gets the triple kill as Skarl returns and the remount is attempted.
You cannot escape this Aatrox. Neilbo barreling through the jungle, finding you where you stand and cutting you down. Towers do not matter, laners do not matter, send them all, he will take it. At 10, 0 and 8, this Aatrox is practically unstoppable. It is only the top side of the map that have fallen from the side of Mistix, and this has to be where they close the game out now.
That's the double knockup that we were talking about. That's going to be the ultra going in. The ball goes down. Still very, very healthy though. Manages to get Fake Egg double kill here as well as he turns on the Sink. That's going to be 2-pack being able to save him by killing the Hail the Beast as well. And they do get the kill onto the Nexus at 23 minutes in.
23 minutes is all it will take. Mistix on one of our new teams coming into the league to claim the first victory. Now, it doesn't count for points in the standings, but it sends a statement. They are here to play, they turned up, and they had some extremely dominant performances. Shout out to the bot lane. deathless the entire game. Tupac Faker and Ku Fallen doing a lot of work for their team, and Neilbo only fell down at the very end by that in that big team fight where they were all going for it themselves.
Absolutely. Now, we will like to remind you this was a show match for our season 2 starting up next week. If you want to come back to watch Double Dippers have a rematch against Mistix later on in the season and see how this match could have potentially gone in their favor potentially later on, we will be here every Sunday starting next week, same time at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you follow us on Twitch so that you can be here.
It will be a season to watch as well. The teams now have a little bit of history behind them. We've done the first split. Everybody's kind of settled in. We know who the teams to watch are, and all of the teams are hungry for the final. They all want to get there. They all want to try and put their names on the board as the Bronze to Plat winners and contenders for that title. So there's going to be no pushover games. None of the teams are going to be going quietly into the night. All of them are going to be wanting to compete, and we will be here every single weekend, 7 p.m. Eastern Seaboard time on a Sunday evening to bring you all of the action